So I wanted to take a few minutes and go over what boxes I need to check when it comes to starting a colt under saddle. What exercises do my horses need to do in order for me to get on their back? Now, first I want to state that it's not the exercises themselves, but it's the softness and fluidity in that horse's body, them not being rigid, tense, or stiff when it comes to it. If I ask my horse to move their shoulders over, I want them to be soft through it. I don't want them to be tense and rigid through it. The other thing I want to say is when it comes to groundwork and starting a horse under saddle, I'm going to start with the saddle on their back as soon as I possibly can and try to work through all these things with a saddle on their back. And when I throw my saddle on as well, I'm not going to strip it down to just my saddle, just the tree, and just the cinch with no stirrups or anything else, because I don't want to prolong stiffness and rigidness in my horse. I'm going to throw my saddle on my horse's back just the same as if I was going to work. If I was going to go gather cows, or if I was going to go branding or whatever, I'm going to have the back cinch, I'm going to have the regular cinch, I'm going to have the breast collar, my rope, my taps on my saddle, and all of those things I'm going to have on my saddle for my horse to get used to, instead of adding it one by one and going, all right, we'll get used to the feel of the saddle and the girth. Now let's add stirrups. And every single time you add something, that horse is just like, ugh. So you're just promoting stiffness and rigidness in your horse, versus if you were to do it all at once and get them used to all of those things at once, it's a shorter amount of time that your horse is going to be learning to be stiff and rigid versus being soft and supple. So starting out with my horses, generally what I like to do is make sure that they disengage the hind end. And I want them to be soft and supple with moving around that hind end and not rigid. And if I ask them to pick up pace, they're going to pick up pace. And if I slow down, they're going to slow down. And they're going to maintain softness and composure throughout their body, no matter what speed I'm asking them to do. Next thing I'm going to ask them is disengagement of the shoulders. I want to have control of the shoulders. So I'm going to come in and ask my horse to move her shoulders. And again, it doesn't matter. If I speed up, she's going to speed up with me. If I slow down, she's going to slow down with me, and she's going to maintain softness and lightness throughout her whole body. She's not going to get stiff and rigid when I ask for speed. After that, I'm going to be looking for the back, softness in the back. If I speed it up, I want her to speed up and maintain softness. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the lead rope off to the other side, and this is to teach your horse to follow their nose, and it doesn't matter where you're positioned, they're going to give to the pressure of that halter and follow through. Starting out with a colt, you could start with here. The other thing that I suggest is having like a 12-foot lead for this, because you want to maintain a safe distance, because their hind end's going to be swinging out and around. This is also really good for teaching horses to switch eyes as well. So starting out with a colt, I might start here with the shoulder and just ask them to bend around and follow their nose, just like that. And then once they get really good about switching eyes and being soft and light and I'm going to put that rope around that horse's hind end and do this and make sure that they maintain softness throughout their body and they're not freaking out about switching eyes. So after all of that, I'm going to incorporate these things into the lunge. So if I'm lunging my horse around and I want to kick out that hip and ask them to disengage and move that hip by putting pressure on it and cross over, they're going to disengage and move that hip and cross over. And it's going to be the same thing with the shoulder. I can push on that shoulder and they're going to go straight and possibly even cross over if you get really good at it. I haven't done this with her for like 2 or 3 years, so she's not the best at it anymore. And when it comes to lunging, I'm going to want to have the shoulders sweep across in the turn versus a horse. So if I were to ask my horse to turn here, instead of having a horse, me stepping way out in front, them coming in, cutting the circle in half, going way back out, hitting the end of the lead, and then getting back out on that circle. I want my horse, when I ask him to turn, sweep those shoulders across just like that and get control of those shoulders. I ask her to turn, sweep those shoulders across just like that, disengage and free up those shoulders. Once I get all of that, I'm going to start incorporating all of these things into different exercises. Now that I got individual control of the shoulders, the hips, and everything like that, the neck and the head with getting them to flex both directions and be soft to the halter and give to that pressure, I'm going to start incorporating those things into different exercises. So I'm going to go, hey, give me your hind end. Sweep across with the shoulders. Give me your hind end. Sweep across with the shoulders. Give me your hind end. Sweep across with the shoulders, just like that. And so that starts teaching them that not only do you have control of their body individually, of their hind end, their feet, their ribs, shoulders, neck, and head, but you can start incorporating that into exercises to where, hey, we're going to go from disengaging the hind end and moving around to engaging the hind end and bringing up the shoulders and lifting around. These are all exercises that are going to promote softness and responsiveness in your horse versus being sharp and rigid. Like I said, I want to be able to pick up speed with these things. So if I want her, hey, move those hips. There we go. Move those hips. Disengage that hind end. Shoulders. And see how she stays just as soft when I pick up speed with that and I get more demanding instead of getting tight and rigid. That's what I'm looking for in these horses on the ground. Now, these are all my bare minimum exercises for colts. If I had something that's a little bit more reactive, I'm going to spend more time doing this and making sure that when I get to the point that I'm ready to get on this horse, I want them to respond just like this with a saddle on their back from the ground. And then I'm going to get on their back because everything here is going to incorporate when you're in the saddle.